Here with Jeremy Booth, our KHOU 11 baseball analyst, Daniel Gotera, Matt Musil.
Hey.
Guys, the Astros, the highlight of the week, the 5 home run innings, 6 home runs in the game. The Astros score 13 runs one night, and then the very next night come back with 1 run against Boston. I feel like that's something we may see more of this summer.
Yeah, you know what? The offense has been really inconsistent. It's become a feast or famine type approach. It's not what we've seen in the past as far as run production on a night in, night out basis to know what you're going to get. So, yeah, those big runs and big innings and lots of home runs, and then the offers are probably going to add up.
I think you're seeing that around Major League Baseball too. I mean, there's a lot of inconsistency when it comes to offense with a lot of teams. They have these big numbers, but then they just can't. I don't know if it's the baseball. Some people are blaming the baseball. I have no idea what's going on, but you see that a lot more around Major League Baseball. I think Astros fans overreact a little bit because the lineup is so good. Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think we're probably going to see that a little bit.
So it's a blessing to have that pitching. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course it's awesome to have JV back, but they've got the second lowest ERA in the American League. I mean, the pitching has been consistently there night after night, even when the bats aren't warmed up.
Yeah, and it's really a key for them to keep that going, regardless of what the offense is doing, but especially with what Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim is doing behind them, and what the rest of the league can do to have that shutdown type arm at the front of the rotation. And he looks better than ever, by the way. Back is really key for that organization.
So let's do this. The one storyline that Astros fans are not talking about, but should be talking about, we'll give ours, and then Jeremy will rate them to see which one is the best. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I think you touched on it a little bit. Yes, Verlander has been excellent, but I think people love offense because it's sexy, right? Chicks dig the long ball, but I think the other guys in that 6-man rotation have really held up their own. I mean, night in and night out, they've been pretty good. I don't think those guys are probably getting enough credit to have the Astros be in this position that they're in right now.
Yeah, like Urquidy today.
Yeah.
He strikes out 10. Mm-hmm. I think I hear a lot of people praising the pitching. Mm-hmm. I hear that, but I don't hear them say, like earlier in the season, they said, "Man, what's wrong with Altuve? He may be over the hill. The little guy's really good but he's not hitting. Then he got hurt. Man, it just might be close to the end of the run. And then, by the way, he comes back, and of those, I think it's 18 games he's back. They've won 15." When he starts, they win games. Did you see the way he turned a double play at the end of today's game? That was sweet. He was doing well defensively. And offensively, he's hitting like 340 since he's come back from the IL.
Yeah. All right, so there's 2 of them. Mine is this, the schedule. Yes, we've heard a lot about this condensed schedule, all these games in a row, and that the Astros need to go to a 6-man rotation. But I'm going to go with this. The schedule for about the next month or so, you've got a lot of tin cans that you're going to be playing. You've got the Mariners, you've got the Royals, you've got the Marlins, you've got, did I say the Rangers yet?
The A's.
The A's, the Rangers, the Mariners. So you've got all these teams in the next month or so. So if you can get another hot streak, I'm not saying 11 straight wins, but if you can build some 5, 6, 7 game winning streaks, they might be able to put some distance between the Anaheim Angels or the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim or whatever they are. So you could now pad a little bit of the lead in the American League West, and I think come stretch time that could be very important. So those are our under-the-radar storylines that people aren't talking about.
I forgot to mention that tan suit.
Yeah, that's a good one too. This is a first for Jeremy. All right, so anyways, we'll skip the suit.
They will be talking about that.
They will be talking about that now. So
up.
which of these storylines should Astros fans be talking about?
Boy, I mean, I feel like the umpire with Josh Donaldson and Tim Anderson right now. I'm not these are all really good. I mean, one guy says they're not talking about the pitching enough. One guy says they are. They're talking about Altuve. And then we got the schedule. Here's the thing about the fans, and these are all excellent, but here's the thing about the fans in Houston. We are, all of us, including us as commentators, we are a little bit spoiled, right? I mean, this club's been pretty good for a while, so all of this stuff is nitpicking. All this stuff can be overlooked. That said, I'm going to have to go with the schedule because I think the Astros fans expect to beat anybody, no matter who it is and who they're playing at any time of year, whether it's Game 7 of the World Series or whether it's the opening night. So I believe in that one simply because that is a big big opportunity for the organization, for the club, to distance themselves from the Angels, and the Angels have been surprising, at least for me, as far as how good they've done so far into the year.
And of course, when you talk about the end of the year, before you get to that, you've got the trade deadline. And I know we're a ways away from that, but when you look at the performance of Sugar Land, the Space Cowboys, they have scored the fewest runs in the Pacific Coast League. A lot of these guys, with the exception of maybe Hunter Brown, who've been hyped so much, they are not performing well. Is that something that Astros fans should be alarmed about right now?
So we're going to go back to my roots here. We're going to start talking about how good this system is, right? And how well drafted Mike Elias's front office did early on. What you're seeing now is the result of the drafts in 2017, 18, and 19. 20, they lost their picks, and 21, they lost their picks, and so they're finally back in the first round now. But it's not just about the first round; it's about the depth in the draft. We have a problem, and I personally blame the name, because the name isn't. We got to work on that. But when it comes to what's going on in Sugar Land, the offense and the production and the just general pool of what they have that may be big league ready. Let's forget talent for a second. Let's talk about big league ready. To be able to bring those guys here to help an Astros club that is winning the division, has a chance to fight for another World Series, is concerning. That puts them in a position where they have to trade off the big league roster. And when you do that, as all of us know who have watched this game for years upon years, it's really tough to replace off the big league roster. Other clubs don't have to do that. They can go get other things out of their system, and the Astros do not find themselves in that position. So am I going to say could be concerned? I think the club as constructed has a chance to win, and I think win a lot. But we get back to that depth question, and it's another situation I'm going to have to really dig deep and try to figure out where that's going to come from, and right now I don't have any answers.
Those Nickelodeon uniforms today were something.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
There you go. So that's minor league baseball at its finest.
So health is a key. Health is always a key. It's a huge factor in every major league season.
Yeah.
But you're saying the Astros cannot afford to have any long-term injuries. Looks like Odorizzi, although he thought his leg had been removed there the other night, he was out throwing the other day out in the outfield.
Which is a great sign.
No, I think that's right on the nose. I mean, I don't know how. And in the past, every season, no matter what we've talked about, when it comes to AAA, AA, A, somewhere there's been something to pull up and help this club. I'm at a loss. And I've watched a lot of Sugar Land for personal reasons. Obviously, they're close. It's not something where anybody there is ready to play in the big leagues. And if you have a championship club, you have to have something that's willing to at least fill in a gap, right? Jeremy Payne has done better at the big league level than anybody in baseball thought, except for the guy sitting next to me, right? You are very welcome. And the reality of that is that that's where it stops. Now, it doesn't mean that Matt Jevitt can't help. It doesn't mean that you can't get an arm for an inning. But to come in if somebody gets hurt and have that ball club still compete for wins, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, we saw last year they did trade Miles Straw, right? They got a bullpen piece, but you can only do that so many times. And they had the luxury last year to have a little bit of depth in the outfield, but you're right. I don't think they have that this year.
Yeah, and I look at that outfield just thinking that, and I don't know where you find it.
Right.
I don't know what's left. I mean, I'm not sold, and this isn't anything against who's there. Some of these guys need more bats anyway to play. They need more time to get better with their game at the big league level. So they're really going to be relying on the pitching staff. I mean, obviously Alex Bregman's had a tough go of it at times, and we talked about Jose Altuve for a second, who can still make this engine go pretty well. It's a pretty good offensive club. I mean, I don't see any reason to be concerned about that. But if somebody goes down for a long period of time, there's a big cause for concern as far as competing into the postseason.
All right. He is Jeremy Booth, the former Major League Scout, our KHOU 11 baseball analyst. Jeremy, as always, thanks for hanging out with us here on Sports Extra.
Man, I love seeing you guys. I do.
We love seeing that tan suit.
Looking sharp.
You know what? Everybody loves seeing the tan suit.